Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing weekend update for you guys. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to cover so much. There's so much. The main thing is pizza, right? If you were lucky enough to be one of the people who claimed the pizza, you got the airdrop this week, and it is way more than I thought it would ever get to. It really looks like the East is pushing this thing, and it might be the next Ordi, and something we have to talk about. We're gonna get in depth with it. We have a lot of other stuff to talk about too. The Ghosty has put out a thing, potential airdrop. I don't know. We're gonna talk about that. Fluid is dropping their decks this week. That's gonna be pretty big because you can do Rune the Rune, and Merlin Swap. The bitmap liquidity is, 2.6 million. It's pretty crazy in 24 hours. And yeah, we'll get into a lot of other stuff. But without further ado, I'm bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What is up, man? How was your Sunday morning going?
So far, so good. I'm ready for the week to start. I'm ready for prices to go back up, right? Because over the last 24 hours, it really wasn't 48 hours. It wasn't too great. I think what's his name? Keith Gill or Roaring Kitty kind of
that was so weird, wasn't it? It was like almost kind of like a bad omen or something. It was like opposite effect that we all expected for it to have.
Yep. And that kind of normally happens, right? Like every time we think something's gonna be bullish, it goes the other way. So yeah. I don't know.
Well, especially whenever it's like, built up, pent up demand, because I think the pent up demand for him was that he hasn't done a live stream in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And so his stream was actually on MSNBC too, like the money show, to where they were at least like waiting and telling people like, we're going to see what kind of effect this has on things. Yeah. And I think it just had the opposite effect, and it was kind of awkward because like we were going to live stream it to our audience and community, but he just took too long. And then, he came on as right after we ended our live stream, and so you and I stuck around for a little bit longer and watched it, and it was just kind of weird. It was like it was awkward. It was like at first the price of GameStop started going up, and we're like, okay, this could be crazy for the entire markets, and then it did the opposite and it went down. So I was like, oh, and then you're like, I don't like this, I'm out. I'm like, okay. And then all the markets got like negatively affected. So I don't know if he should do any more live streams.
Well, I think everyone just had too much hype going into it. I mean, he's just a guy. Like watching him, it was just like he's just like a dork, right? he's like us. He's a nerd. Like he's just like, and it's like for him to pump financial markets, he was just like, I just think it's funny, and it is kind of cool because like GameStop was the first meme coin, right? Everyone says it was Doge. It was GameStop. GameStop was the first meme coin, and it really kind of took everything to the next level. And then they realized you can't halt Doge, and they took Doge up to millions of dollars, and then Shiba, and then so on and so on. Now we have things like Brett and Dog and Dog with Hat and stuff like that. So it really was the start of something. And there's a new one in town. It's called Pizza. So
pizza.
We'll get that in a little bit. Pizza. Little Caesars. Shout out to Little Caesars. That's that pre-made pizza, right? Like you kind of
ready and hot. I think $5 ready and hot. You can just go and get
$5.
it. $5.
Wow, you can get any of those $5 these days. But on Friday, we're talking about this. 300 million were liquidated from the cryptocurrency markets in 60 minutes on Friday. Pretty wild.
Yeah. It was. Definitely was. And I wasn't along whenever that started happening. So like, I got wrecked myself. So it just was something that wasn't expected, right? And at least not that much of a pullback. I mean, we've talked about, there being two options and it pulling back, but I just felt like there was like a lot of bullish sentiment building up and leading into that, and then for it to kind of do the opposite it was weird. It was weird, but it was like, okay, if you think logically, they definitely liquidated a good amount of longs, I think. And they got all the way down, Bitcoin all the way down to 68,400 something. And so I did a little bit of the math, and I said, okay, it looks like, they tagged a lot of people that were probably buying in at that 71,000 mark that were 10xing or more. They tagged them and were able to liquidate a lot of those people, probably more on the higher risk curve there, that got liquidated. But still, 68,400, you're moving down about $3,000, because it was at one point on Friday, I believe it touched like 71,400. Right. And so you're looking at $3,000 of downside. And it was just bleeding and bloody. If you could, I was watching it and I was like, oh yeah, this is one's gonna last a little bit. And then but when it did, it was done. It did bounce back barely. I think, what we can look forward to now is probably, okay, accepting that we're probably going to range back and forth. You, I believe, still have the mentality of, hey, this is just a little blip before really liquidating these shorts and squeezing up.
Yeah, I just think this is just, if you think about it, though, Bitcoin really didn't drop that much. So, I mean, 69,000, it's not 64,000, right? It's not 62,000. So I just think this is a little pull back before we start going up. I think we're gonna have a Bitcoin summer. I think Bitcoin's gonna reach 100K this summer, and I just think these big dogs are just gearing up for that, and they're not ready for that yet. They haven't accumulated enough yet. Because I mean, look at the ETFs every single day. It's like 200 million. You know what I mean? It's pretty insane. The amount of money the ETFs are taking in. So, but we'll see.
Yeah. The inflows have been really good. So in my mind, I'm like, where is that Bitcoin going? Yeah. Some people are saying, it's being paper traded with Coinbase, and if that's the case, that sucks and it's a little bit scary. But I don't know. I think that's just kind of conspiracy right now.
Yeah.
Either way, again, once you start to get a lot of anxiety and stress, you just remember where we are on the roadmap. Pull up the stock to flow model chart, and where we are on the roadmap is, we know where we're going to be at in like 3 to 6 months. So,
and we're a lot further than that in the next 15 months. I think the normal halving lasts 15 months after the bull run. I think this is a super cycle, and I think we get 20 months. I think that we're gonna, it's going to be absolutely amazing this time next year. We just got to kind of get there first and just take our time and accumulate the assets that we think are going to be there. So. But speaking of the king and his price, would you mind showing us your charts, sir?
Yeah, let's start with the hourly here. Pull this up. All right. Yep, you can see here. Okay, so this is where that ugly descent started to happen on Friday. You could see we were chilling here. We were talking about all-time highs, and we were feeling really good. And then 74, 71, 442 came all the way and wicked down to 68. It wicked down to 68, 273 actually. Wow. But really, like, if you look at the hard candle, it got as low as 69.1. Of course, it did touch these areas. But I think that's a pretty significant drop off, though, just for like a small, quick little, turnaround situation, because 71.4 to 68, let's just say 68.4. That's $3,000 within say 8 a.m. to 5-hour period. I think that is pretty significant, and definitely everybody felt it. Now we're kind of here sideways. But look, we're sideways chopping. I think the next move for Bitcoin's really going to tell us if we decided, hey, we are going to go into that option B route. That Bob Lucas was talking about, because we thought option A was definitely like where we were trending to. It throws us off and says, no, option B is still on the table. The next move is really going to tell us, at least, if it goes down again, I think we're in option B. Because let's say we go down another 3,000 from where we are now, 69.4, and we're at what, like 66, right? That's a pretty significant change within like 2 weeks, right? So then I think we range until the end of July. We go back up and we're back to 71,000 pretty quick, let's say Monday morning. Then I think game on still, right? We're still in that first option there. So Bitcoin's next move is going to give us a lot of information. I think it will allow us to be pretty accurate on where we're going to be for the rest of June and July on the next move it makes.
Yeah, and I'm still thinking we go up, man. You know, a lot of people think it's it won't come back till July 5th. That's when a lot of people kind of get back to their desk, get their vacationing and stuff. A lot of people take June off, but we'll see. I don't know. I've never been able to take a whole month off, so I don't know what that's like. So, but it just seems, you know, I don't know. I'm just, I'm just, I guess it's got to be more patient. You know, I do think it got to go up, but I think we all just need to be more patient and just know that this is a long cycle and we're in the very beginning stages of it.
Yep. And also, you know, it's okay to be like bullish most of the time during a bull market, you know.
Yeah.
I think that you just, you know, got to recognize what's your timeline, you know, level that you're looking at, right? Are you looking at short term? Are you looking at midterm? Are you looking at long term? Because all those have different sentiments that, you know, can be right. You know, mid and long term bullishness makes sense, right? Short term, not, we don't know. That's where I think it gets very tricky, and a lot of people look for those type of calls on the short term. And you know, it's just with where we are in society and everybody's economy, it's a little bit unclear. You know, sometimes we feel like the economy from a macro level is really bad. Then jobs reports comes out and it looks very good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, where are we? But then you still hear about the inflation, you know, every day, like on the news, and how it affects everyday consumers and the mortgage rates and all these things. People aren't buying homes and stuff. And so you get a little bit confused on like what is actually happening. And so that's why mid and long term, I think, are like the safest sentiments to kind of say, okay, I don't need to like care so much about short term because I'm not leverage trading hard, or I'm not doing this, and I'm not caring so much, because at the end of the day, you made a statement, I think it was on Thursday night or Thursday, sorry, at the end of our stream. And you were like, you know what? This is what I think Bitcoin's going to do. But if it doesn't go up, I don't care, because like it doesn't really affect me in terms of my bags, because my bags are my bags right now. And that's what they will be until I'm ready to offload them or whatever you said.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. It's just, that's the thing too, is like I have a short-term mindset for like very little things in my portfolio, right? So it's just like I want dog to go up, right? I want dog to 3x so I could take some profit on it and then take that and put that in things that I think it could 5, 10, 15, 20x. So I mean, there is some stuff that I'm a little bit want to, you know, eventually take profit on to kind of mix it and match it and other things that I'm bullish on as well. So but the stuff that long term, like, you know, like the Bitcoin I have, you know, I don't think I'd ever sell it, right? I enjoy looking at the price action every day, but like unless I'm dipping it into ordinals, it doesn't really affect the price of it. You know.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Real quick. So on the daily chart here, you can see we did have 3 red candles in a row here. And when I switch that to the weekly, I think this is the most important part, right? Because the weekly, we've had 4 consecutive weeks with green candles. I think it's a really big deal how we end the week today, you know, for sentiment wise. And it looks like they're trying to push the sentiment up, right? It looks like we're back to 69, almost 500 right now. So, you know, they're really trying to get, you know, end on at least like a positive note. But I don't know if we can, because like the week before we ended, I guess we could. No, 70. So 70, like right at the candle is right at like 68. So possibly we can end it, because I think this is the one we're working on a green candle too. So we'll see. I think that's going to really carry over the momentum for the week.
Could you pop that up real quick and go left? I want to see the beginning of last bull market and go over. Yeah. Okay. So we didn't have that much red. Air zoom in there. Like on the way up there to get started. Do we have a lot of at least? Yeah. Look, it kind of reminds me of what was going on right there, right?
Right here.
Yeah, right there, and then
Yeah.
all the way left for the beginning of there. So yeah, we got red, green, and a couple of red, a couple green, and then boom, we had the giant run up. So it looks like a run up's coming, man. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, also this is different time frames too. This was 2021, so the year
Yeah,
after
I'm
January
actually
kind of.
talking more left than that, like that. I think we're right there. Yeah,
Yeah. This is where we are right here.
yeah.
So then
You know what I
if that's
mean?
the case, then we can have pullback right here before really the fall, you
Yeah.
know. So
Unless
I
that
mean,
already kind of was. What if that was that pullback, that last red before the run up?
it definitely could been, you know.
Yeah.
So that's for sure.
All right. All right.
Yep.
Before we get into the pizza party stuff, Ghosty came out with a post. It wasn't really anything to share. It was just kind of a date. Let me see if I can pull this up really quick. Yeah, so they came out with this thing, Ghosty Phase 1. We know they were in Phase 0 for the longest time. So Phase 1 starts 6/10/2024, which is it's looking like it's tonight at 8 o'clock, right? If I'm not wrong, because 12 UTC would be in about, I don't know, what, 8 hours?
Yep.
12 hours, yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what this ends up being, you know. I
yeah.
don't know. What do you think it is? And what is phase one?
So I think it's the snapshot for the Spooky token. I think that that is when that would be. They're kind of giving you that last chance to get as much ghosties as you can before the snapshot. And it could be a good idea if you do have it listed to delist it, because they might not count the listings in the
Yeah.
snapshot. So, I mean, because that's how you know you're getting the real holders, and the real holders can get more of the supply. So, if you do have Ghosty listed, I would think about unlisting it until this goes through. Like I said, I have no idea what it really is. I'm just guessing, like all you guys. But from my speculation, I think it's a snapshot for the Spooky token. I think it's tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah. It
So.
could definitely be that. But what do you feel like that does for the ghosty token in general? Do you think that are you bullish about that, or I mean, how do you feel?
I mean, you really can't be any more bearish than people already are. I mean, Ghosty's down 50% from last month. You know, it was at 40 cents and now it's at like 18, 19 cents. Right. So, I mean, there's not really much more bearish. I understand people are selling the stuff to kind of get into dog and stuff and things like that, which has happened. But Ghosty's an infrastructure play, right? Ghosty, that's what Track is saying. So we don't really know. The one thing about Track right now is they're giving us zero information. There is nothing coming from this team. They are tight-lipped. You know, we heard some rumors about some stuff, but like we don't even know how true they are. And if they are true, it's huge. But it's one of those things, they're being really tight-lipped, and I'm hoping more information comes soon because you know, it's very boring.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of a little bit frustrating because I feel like, you know, like there's a lot of hype that's built up into what's coming supposedly,
Yeah.
and you just want, because you've obviously had conviction, right, in certain plays that are BRC20s that are transferring over to tap. But with that conviction, you just want something to back it up, and right now we're not getting that in terms of what is to come. The one thing that I think with Ghosty is that we've seen that they have a working product, they have a revenue model, you know, they're making money, obviously, and so that makes me bullish on what their future could be. But I still think that they haven't gotten the respect that they deserve because, you know, maybe it's because they you know haven't released more information on what you know, their new decentralized swap is going to be like and stuff like that. I hope that once they release that information, that like people really buy into it, because it's like they've already shown that they're here to solve pain points, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, is like everyone knows Ghosty as like kind of like that privacy thing, right? So Spooky could be the thing that's not privacy related. It could be related to something else, so where it does get listed on these exchanges, because there was rumors in the past that some exchanges were delisting it because of the privacy feature. So now kind of the separation of the Ghosty and the Spooky could actually be really good for the Spooky token. And if
mhm.
unless they come out with some bull crap like Track did with the 6% airdrop, That's just really bad. I think Ghosty needs to be more community friendly and give between 10 and 15% to the airdrop holders, because at the end of the day, people are there's a lot of people that have Ghosty next to their X names, right? A lot of people, and they've been supporting Ghosty from the beginning, and I think Ghosty needs to support them as well. And whatever this is, I'm hoping it's big for the community. I'm hoping it's big for the holders who've been supporting Ghosty from the beginning, right? So
Yeah,
but yeah.
100%, man. I agree with you on that. I feel like there's been a lot of support shown for the track and ghosty and stuff. So eventually, obviously track is what tap airdrop is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But ghosty can do something different and really excite their community.
They have to. They're not track. They're not tap, right? So they have to do something that actually puts the community first. Track seem to put their people first, their team and the advisors and all that ahead of the holders of track, and that kind of sucks. But I hope Ghosty doesn't follow that same leaderboard. And you see, I mean, track got down to $1.70 yesterday. You can see the community's just annoyed by them. So
Yeah.
hopefully things change, but.
Yep.
All right, we're getting some more fun news here. The pizza party. Pizza has now been fully distributed. 24-hour volume for pizza on OKX was 237 BTC. Real quick, for people who don't know what pizza is, could you give a quick rundown of like what happened over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah. So Unisat decided to celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day by giving or allowing people to claim their points, pizza points, with each wallet that had some sort of interaction with the Unisat platform. So finally, our points are being useful, right? Becoming useful, and so it was like not super highly like marketed. I feel like it was like just out there. If you knew, you knew kind of situation. And then we talked about it like 3 days kind of lightly, and then like that last day we told everybody we're claiming and all that stuff. And then what they did was they started to airdrop based off of your points that you claimed, and you got 1-to-1 token for that. And so there was rumors about in the Wells market and OTC that this token was popping off. We saw like it was at like $4.50 on Wells market, and we were like, well, it'll probably do the opposite once it gets live, because that's what we've seen with Wells market. But it did the opposite of what we thought, and it started to go up, and we're like, oh my gosh. And they actually they did the airdrop in a very slow manner, and it wasn't intentional. It was because OKX was consolidating all their UTXOs, right?
Yep.
So they're already spending a lot of money to airdrop these, and because OKX was making it expensive, they basically they made it basically impossible for them to continue that airdrop. And so because of that rollout, I feel like it actually helped propel the price even more. And then so now like there's this huge hype train with pizza, and it's at almost $7 right now, right? So it's just like it's really rocking and rolling. And I don't know, man, who knows where it could go, but this is really, in my opinion, this is crazy. Like this is basically their version of dog in the East in China. And so it could go crazy. There's someone that's buying up a ton, and I don't know if it's like whales or exchanges, but there's someone that's buying up a ton. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm actually glad for the East, man. Obviously, the news came out. I think from Jake Gallen. He said the Asian market has requested Chinese characters for runes. In case he denied the request publicly on the recent Hell Money podcast. Even Sora Ventures made a public request for it a few months ago. Domo BRC20 has been very accepting and courteous towards the East. Makes sense they doubled down on Ordi Sats and pizza and whatever Unisat backs. So I mean that could really be it, it could just be like them, KC kind of denied them from runes. They weren't able to do the Chinese lettering and stuff like that, which I didn't know about. It kind of sucks that Casey's kind of being that censorship of runes, and it really shows that runes aren't very decentralized, because you do have one man kind of controlling the indexer, and he kind of says what is a rune and what isn't. So what do you think about all that?
I think that it's because the way that the tickers work, and it was difficult for China to really just buy in right off the bat. It backfired, and then Casey really doesn't care.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if China participates or not, that's not why he created it. And so it's just kind of like a overall snowball effect, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then now China's like, well, we're on board with Ordi and all this stuff. And so look, I've always said multi-meta protocol ecosystem, and this is what it seems like we're leading to. The West has runes, the East has BRC20, parts of like the Western community and a little bit maybe the Eastern community has tap, and then these other ones too. But the two big monsters are runes and BRC20s right now, and we're going to see like how they end up kind of evolving in their own way. I think that they're both going to be very successful.
Yeah.
But like, there's no need for anybody that's holding runes to freak out. There's no need for anybody holding BRC20 to freak out. I think that you got to accept that like these are two different ecosystems, and they're both a part of Bitcoin's ecosystem. At the end of the day, they can actually benefit each other, and I think that's what
Yeah.
ends up happening.
Yeah, and this is it's at the end of the day, this is all good for Bitcoin's ecosystem, right? Just kind of like what you said. This is the best case scenario. If we just had one protocol that was just running up and running up, that kind of leaves room for other people to innovate and other people to build. So I'm a proponent for runes. I think runes is the best standard, but it's okay to have other standards, and I'm kind of glad for people who believe in BRC20s to have this, because this kind of it makes it more open to everybody, right? You can have multiple different things. You can hold pizza, you can hold Ordi, you can hold dog, you can hold this. So at the end of the day, we're all Bitcoiners, and at the end of the day, everything is inscribed into Bitcoin. So
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And so we just need to focus on that, and because at the end of the day, whenever everything is going crazy, there's going to be people from the outside coming in.
yeah.
And so if there's more things over here to keep them entertained over here, then that's better for the entire ecosystem and everybody that's been here.
Yep.
So
But one thing about it though, got to get rid of that damn transfer inscription. I just paid yesterday. I sold some pizza yesterday. I paid like $70 in transfer inscriptions, so that was not fun. But the good stuff with the pizza was a Myth. He's really big in the Chinese community. He said, I heard that pizza will be listed on Binance. What if this is true? $10, $15, very bullish. And then to that, Binance posted a picture of a pizza with ham and carrots on it. I'm not really sure. Being an American in Philadelphia, we don't do that here. We don't put ham and carrots on our pizza, but they did. What do you think about these two posts here?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty big, dude. Like Binance's Web3 account. Yeah, it is their
Yeah.
Web3 account, but I don't think it's, a mystery that Unisat has a relationship with Binance, right? Like Lorenzo, probably pretty close with the Binance team and OKX team. And I mentioned this yesterday on my Twitter that that's where BRC20 has an edge. It's just that's a fact. At the end of the day, is that like these relationships, and we've seen like the power of network effect ourselves, right? When you build relationships, business relationships, and you're not a dirt bag or anything like that, then those business relationships almost kind of turn into friendships too, right? So like and so what happens is that like you get more opportunities to communicate, like, hey, look, this is an opportunity for Binance and Unisat, and this is what could happen from this or whatever, right? As opposed to Leonidas, which is trying to communicate through his Twitter account by tagging them. You know what I mean? And so I think this is where it doesn't matter how many followers you have. If you're predominantly like a Western influencer or influencer, you're not going to be able to penetrate the East the way you can on the West. And vice versa too. Like, I mean, imagine like someone huge on you see it a little bit actually with Jason Sora, or sorry, Jason Fang from Sora. Like he's I think he's from Taiwan. He might be kind of in the middle because he does speak English well, and I think he's lives in the States. But He hasn't been able to penetrate the West too much, in terms of having influence on tap stuff or different things that they're doing with Karma and stuff like that. So I think really you just got to accept it and then expand your strengths. And I think Leonidas needs to really expand on communities like Solana, Base, Ethereum, and really just hit home with them and really let them know, hey, look, over here, you're not going to get rugged in terms of like the liquidity stolen and all that stuff, and really just try to build on that.
I agree. Yeah, perfect way to end that. My last question for you would be ham and carrots on a pizza.
Not really for me, but I don't think it'd be that bad.
Yeah.
I don't like pineapple pizza, like the Hawaiian style pizza. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'd rather probably try the ham and carrots. But yeah, I think that's definitely more of like an Asian flavor type of thing. Just putting ham and carrots on a pizza. You wouldn't
Yeah.
see that very often here.
Yeah, man. This is the one last one here. Outside of Dog, the East has minimal interest in runes. The trading data on OKX tells this full story. OKX doesn't have much runes trading data at all, do they?
I mean, if I go to runes, it looks like, yeah, their numbers are not anywhere close to Magic Eden, right? So I mean,
Magic Eden
it's
won
just
the race, though.
Yeah,
By far.
Magic Eden definitely won the race there, in my opinion. But we kind of, after it launched and we didn't see too much, Chinese communities getting involved,
Yeah.
it was kind of expected, right? I think $1 billion cap might be like a big one in China. But yeah, you're just not seeing a ton of volume as if, yeah. Dog is number one over there, though. So they are, if they're going to be big on one, it's probably that one.
All right. Ordinal Hive had a amazing space over the weekend. Ordinal Hive is one of our partners. Ordinal Hive, Fonzie ran a space perfectly. You had Lars from Tiny Vikings over there. Definitely want to get Lars on the show. We really think what the Tiny Vikings are doing is special, and they're building something. So curious about that. But it was cool to hear Fonzie and kind of really explained what was going on. So if you want to check that out, it's just go to Ordinal Hive's Twitter account. It's the spaces, you can re-listen to it. He did a great job, and I'm proud to call Fonzie a partner, because listening to that really made me bullish on those guys, because Fonzie's all in. He's moving from California to Texas to be closer to his CTO. Which is absolutely amazing. It just shows you that Fonzie's all in. I think that he picked the perfect place with Merlin. Because we're able to help him with that because of our connections there. With us being really friendly with Jeff and everything. So, I just think that it's so necessary to have a Blur type of thing or Magic Eden type of thing on Merlin. So when OKX does do their stuff like that, when they're doing the UTXOs and stuff, when fees are going 500, you can still trade this stuff somewhere else. And I think that's very necessary, and I'm very happy for something like that to come.
Yeah. And here's the crazy thing. You guys are probably like, oh, you guys talked them into building on Merlin. No, actually the opposite. They they did all of their due diligence before reaching out to us and talking to us. They already started building on Merlin, and they went through the kind of checks and balances of all these other Bitcoin side chains and layer twos, and they decided Merlin's the only one that made sense for them. No one else is ready. Bitcoin layer one assets and stuff. And you can get that whole spiel and breakdown on the spaces that Shizzy mentioned. But yeah, the good thing about their leadership with Fonzie and McDurr is that Fonzie's gone through kind of like this process before on Ethereum. He has the experience of building, like attempting to build something great over there, and going through the ups and downs. And so he brought that experience over here. And so you can tell, like, he's very particular in what they are looking for. They're very organized. They're very start to finish. This is what we're trying to do. This is what we need from the Merlin team or the Unicross team or whatever, and they're just knocking it out one by one. So I expect Ordinal Hive to be a big project, have strong TVL.
Yep.
They have support from BTC Startup Labs. We saw it in the space. They were in there, Patrick, which is really cool. I think he's a part of that organization as well, but he's helping Ordinal Hive, a lot. He had really great insight on that spaces. It was just felt really good too. Tiny Vikings were in there as well, and it was just like this. The Ordinal OGs, I feel like, are starting to, like, at least like a good decent part of them are starting to realize, like, Merlin wasn't what all these fudsters were saying it was, and in fact, because of that FUD, like, Merlin unintentionally ended up being able to cut out their competition. I said this on there because it's so funny, because like B Squared and Botonics and all this stuff were watching Merlin, and then they saw all this FUD come from somewhere, right? And they were like, oh wow, like, no, layer one assets, no, so they backed off, and then the Merlin's like, oh, they were probably stressed out, but they kept building, and then now it's like coming, it's like, oh, all those people that pivoted, too bad for them, because now, like, all these people are coming now to build on Merlin from the West, which is crazy. Something that probably even Jeff didn't expect. And when we have conversations with him, it kind of seems like that he didn't expect it right away. But people are realizing, to bridge over these layer one assets, it's the best sidechain to do that and do activity and make them flexible right now.
Yep, and shout out to the guys at Unicross. They're making this whole bridging process happen. They're killing it, dude. Mr. J and those guys are really just doing an amazing job. So I definitely want to put that out there. So, but they're making it possible for teams like Verothium Dex and Ordinal Hive to really kind of push into the next thing. And I'm ready to see some building happening. I'm ready to see Merlin really start taking off. And it's just so funny when we talk about the photo in Merlin. It's like the bridge was late. like the bridge was late. That's why everyone was all pissed off. And it's like everyone should know, if a dev says a date, just give them 3 more months, because it's just dev talk, right? I mean, not saying, well, Jeff's different. I mean, Jeff gave you 2 weeks, but most devs is just like 3 months later and everything.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's like also the fact that they were the first ones to take this dive, into innovation, so of course there's going to be bumps and bruises, right? This was new. Particle Network working on an actual chain, actually working, was brand new. So it was kind of like, if you knew all the facts, and you would ignore the FUD, in my opinion. And but I get it. Like, the FUD was pretty bad at one point, and so, like, there was moments where you and I were talking, where we're like, yeah, our conviction is still there. This is normal. Ups and downs of innovation is normal, and then now all that stuff has been smoothened out, right? You know what I mean? So now we're in the building process, and you're going to see people flood to Merlin, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited for the future of Merlin and Ordinal Hive and Lithium Dex as well. We do real quick. So the CEO of Verothium Dex stepped down. Eric BRC 20 coins.
I think you froze.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good now.
The CEO of Verothium Dex stepped down. Eric BRC 20 coins, and I just wanted to put that out there. It wasn't because of anything with the team or anything like that. The team seems to be still intact. It was just with the Uniswap. They're getting the Wells notice from the SEC. Eric didn't feel comfortable anymore, so he kind of stepped away for those reasons. Being an American citizen and stuff like that. So just want to put that out there. Verothium Dex nothing has changed. They are actually thinking about becoming more decentralized and just rolling with the governance token as the CEO. So
yeah, and but again, it's a swap. So remember that, like, so the swap is going to have a lot of different options on it. So it's a model. It's a business model type of approach with it. So the more the swap succeeds, the better for the community. So that's the other Western builder that's going to be building and releasing on Merlin very soon. And I expect more to come once they see success with these two. I think there's going to be definitely more that come over.
When Verothium Dex and Ordinal Hive really kick into gear, you're going to see a lot more people be like, "Oh crap, we're late," and they're going to jump in head first. But our last partner here, Fluid Tokens Dex, will be popping off this week. Very excited for it, because this is going to be the first time you're able to trade dog for Arsic, trade Arsic for Billy. You're gonna be able to do anything you really want to do over there as long as it's listed. I'm really excited for this. This is gonna be something game changing. And let's just say like last night or whatever, I saw someone posted $30,000 worth of dog at 9.9 sats, right? And what they were doing is they were buying everything that got floored in front of it, and you saw that. You saw as soon as something got hit above that, it got eaten up. With fluid decks, you're not going to worry about that because you're going to be able to chip away at that $30,000 because that's just kind of how it works. If someone lists something like that over there, you're going to be able to grab a little bit from that pile. So you will be able to buy it actually at that 9.9 sats because you can just grab a little bit from it. You don't have to grab the whole 30,000 of it. So that's one thing that's huge from these guys too.
Yeah, no, that's going to be amazing. They definitely are trying things outside of the box to bring something that isn't there right now. They're definitely about like trying to solve this pain point, and so I'm excited to see what they'll have.
100%. And our last topic before we get into market updates, Merlin Swap bitmap liquidity hit 2.6 million in 24 hours with 350% APR. The APR now has dropped a little bit, right? And I don't think it's anywhere near that 350%. But I think this was for the bitmap token. Which you take your bitmaps, you take them to Unicross, use the Merlin Phantom, and you're able to get tokens for your bitmap. You lock your bitmap up, you get tokens for that. You take the tokens to Merlin Swap, and you can lock them in an LP pool, earning insane yield that's not going to last. But it's there it's there now. What do you think about this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's going to last until that additional bonus of like $400,000 or $300,000 that Merlin chain offered on top goes out and gets paid out. So I think this is really good. That could last a while because there's liquidity in there, but there's also it's being offered on the Bitcoin and bitmap token pairing too. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add my liquidity. I just need to get the Bitcoin to match. I don't want to sell down my bitmaps. I want the number of bitmaps I have now for tokens, and then add Bitcoin to that for the pool. So that's what I'm just focused on. But yeah, I think this is going to be big for the bitmap token. I think the bitmap token takes a little bit of time, but once it gets rocking and rolling, it's really going to push some stuff up because it's going to be easier to trade, and so, yep, that's pretty much it.
100%. All right, guys. We'll jump into some market updates for you guys. So we'll just run through this stuff really quickly. Let me give us a quick refresh just to make sure we have the best things. Oh wow, dog's back up to 11 sats. Like I said, this got down to 9 sats last night. I was gonna buy, dude. I was like, let me check it tomorrow morning, and I regret not buying it then. But I'm gonna skip Feihu because it shouldn't be up the number one spot.
Yes, you should skip it.
Dog go to the moon and then number one spot, 11.11 sats, sitting at $773 million market cap. This got down to $680 million market cap yesterday. Oh, every time I say that, I just kick myself because I'm looking to buy more dog. Arsic sitting at 14 sats at $205 million market cap. Pups sitting at 245 sats at $170 million market cap.
Yep. Definitely
dropping a little bit there. Bank of Nakamoto dollar sitting at $146 million market cap. Actually, this one's a killer, man. Epic sitting at $71 million market cap, down 8%. Satoshi Nakamoto sitting at $57 million market cap. This got up to $3.80. Did you see that?
Yep. I mean, I was very tempted to sell that, but I was like, you know what? Yeah. We've seen Bitcoin, pull back like $3,000-$4,000, and then over the weekend, like on Sunday, jump back up to where it was. So that could happen. And if that happens and it continually goes up, then this was just a pause for the Rune ecosystem. So
100%. I agree. Then we have a little bit of Wolf Pop sitting at $54 million market cap, followed by Decentralized sitting at $51 million market cap. Runes X Bitcoin sitting at a $42 million market cap. RuneX token sitting at $25 million market cap. Manko Runes really doing really well. Up at 25 cents, sitting at $19 million market cap. Billy, as they call him, $1 billion cat, sitting at a $17 million market cap. Zbit, the Bitcoin machine, sitting at $14 million market cap. Gob is Gob, sitting at a $14 million market cap. Waddle Pengu sitting at $13 million market cap, down 9%. Meme Economics sitting at $10 million market cap at down 10% as well. The Donald Trump sitting at a $10 million market cap at 14 sats, down 7%. Oh, this one's getting killed, man. Cats in the sats. This was all the way up to $1.35, now down at 35 cents, down 28%, sitting at $7 million market cap. Bones of BitDog sitting at a $6 million market cap, and we'll finish it here with the Mr. Yen, Japanese businessman, sitting at a $6.6 million market cap, down 7% from yesterday, sitting at 32 cents, which is still pretty good. I think this got up as high as 38 cents.
Yep. It was at 38 cents, which is all-time high for that, for sure. But yeah, I almost sold a lot of my runes because I was like, okay, if there is a pullback going to happen, then I want to be able to buy in at a cheaper price. I can get more runes in the ones that have more conviction on, right? And so, but I didn't, because I was like, there is that small possibility that this is just a little pause, you know, and if that's the case, then we can continue next week. But I did get rid of most other ones that were just more clutter, less conviction and stuff like that. So look, the best case scenario, Bitcoin bounces back to 70,500 and then, you know, continues on this trajectory, and then runes can kind of continue, in my opinion. But if Bitcoin does just scale back and it pulls back even further, then I think the runes run was done for this first run up. And then we'll have to wait till the next one. So all right. I guess I could pull up the BRC20 update real quick.
Please.
All right. So this is OKX, guys. I feel like OKX is the strongest in terms of volume, even though pizza is happening on Unisat. But the past 24 hours, you can see here, obviously pizza is the first. The market cap's at 146 million. So how much did dog start off at? Do you remember?
It was like 280, dropped down to about 170. Yeah.
Okay. So this is kind of the opposite to where it started, probably a little bit lower at like 120, and then now it's building up a little bit, but you know, it's definitely they're different, right? They're two different things. One was a really cool approach with runestones that you could, you know, for the airdrop, you had to wait a while. Pizza was just kind of out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It literally was just out of nowhere. And a bunch of people didn't really expect it. And so it's in that 146 million. The change is up 4.79% in volume. The volume was 16.297 million, almost 16.3 million. Look at the second one. So you go from 16.3 million in volume to 265,000, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, definitely this tells me that there is some big players involved here, man. Someone is buying up all y'all's pizza. Like, y'all are selling pizza right now. Seriously, y'all are selling pizza for like $6, and someone's like saying, "I'll take it. I'm gonna store all my pizza up. I'll take it." Or there's like an exchange that's buying it up and saying, "I need as much of the pizza for cheap as possible." And if you think about it from a logical standpoint, right, it's tough as being like, you know, if you're a claimer of pizza, it's tough because you're like, okay, let's say you have 3,000 tokens, right? And they're at $6. That comes out to be 18 grand, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, at $6, 18 grand. So like in your mind, you're like, do I take the $18,000 that basically was free?
Oh yeah.
Or do I wait until this thing explodes? Because it can very much explode because, you know, of what, you know, there's someone buying a ton.
Yeah.
You know, who's buying this? Like, who's buying my $6.50 pizza? You know what I'm saying? Someone, 16.297 million. So I don't know. To me, I'm holding on to mine a little bit longer. And that's not saying that you should do that, because, you know, don't listen to me on that. But this is just my opinion for how I feel. I feel like there's somebody involved here. There's a group of people involved, or somebody that says, you know, I want to buy as much pizza as cheap as possible. And right now it's probably going to be as cheap as possible because there's going to be so many holders that get free money and they're just going to, you know, cheat it. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation. It's like 100 at what would you say it was $156 million market cap?
146.
146. So it's one of those things where it's like this could easily double and go to what, $13, right? So it's hard to say. I mean, it's your decision, and that's kind of how it goes. Everyone has their own strategy. You know, for me though, if I had $18,000 in pizza, I'd want to put it in dog, because I'm more bullish on runes, because there's no transfer inscription, and that's just that's just me personally. You guys do whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there's just a good mixture of a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
To where some people are saying, okay, this has to go up, and you even said it could easily go up double at least, right?
Yeah.
But you know, it's weird. It's like this new spotlight on BRC20 is because of this one token. But if you look at it, it really is pizza. You know, I mean, if you look below this, it's just, you know,
Nothing.
pretty small volumes, but you know, 16.297 million in 24-hour volume is crazy. It's more than all of them combined.
Yeah.
You know, easily more than all of the rest combined. So we'll see what happens there. Number 2 is Pi at 265,000 in 24-hour volume, $52 million market cap. Wizard comes in at number 3 with 135.9 million thousand in volume at $6.82 here, 143 million. So this is about the same market cap as pizza already.
Yeah.
And then core number 4 at 113,000 and 36.5 million. Pin at 57,000 at 21.61 million. BMB at 51,000 with $4.25 million market cap. Sats coming in at 31.7 thousand in 24-hour volume, $600 million market cap. It's down volume-wise 10%, probably because people are just focused on pizza. Pin here at 31,000.4 in 24-hour volume with $13.23 million market cap. AI, and then this is an AI play here, BRC20, 30.9 thousand in 24-hour volume, 9.36 million. And you have track here at 14.8 thousand in 24-hour volume and 45.44 million. Let's hit on some other recognizable ones. Ghosty here at 9.9 thousand 24-hour volume, sitting at a $6.96 million market cap. So undervalued to me.
Oh my god.
But we'll see. Rats comes in here at 9.799 thousand 24-hour volume with 160.33 million market cap. So market cap still over 150 million here. This market cap has dropped drastically from its all-time high, which was 800 million. Still has 24,000 holders, so a good amount of holders there. Let's find Ordi. Oh, sorry, Pizza with
what's up with that pizza?
Pizza.
That was actually
This was the first pizza, but I guess if you spell it correctly, you get more points. So that's what it seems like. MMSS. Wow, this thing has come down a lot, man. This thing's at like 7, almost 8 cents, but no volume here. This is a Korean community, man. It could pop once things with the BRC20 market picks back up. $1.59 million market cap, though, very small. Where's Ordi? Where's our guy Ordi at? He's not even.
You gotta touch the volume, I think, or like Ordi's definitely.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's right here. Where was that? I just saw it. Here it is. 6.76. So Ordi's getting a lot of love on the exchanges, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like the Doge effect, in my opinion, right? The Dogecoin effect. So and we've heard Jeff and other people talk about like Ordi and Sats now are like a decentralized, and Jake from Emblem Vault, Jake.sats said Ordi and Sats are now decentralized, and that's why they're like, you know, the 2 most successful 4-byte BRC20s. And it's true, like they're getting a lot of their love from centralized exchanges now. You know, so centralized exchanges are having to buy more and push the price up. So that's something that could do well for the ecosystem later on down the road. And transfer inscriptions do suck, man. But that's the crazy power of social consensus, though. I feel like social consensus is one of the most crazy things that like we'll ever like come across in terms of like how it can push something that might not make the most logical sense, but does well. So all right.
I'm hoping the BRC20s can kind of get away from the transfer inscription. I'm hoping Benny figures out a way to kind of get away from it, even if it's done in the background, like when you buy it, the transfer inscription gets automatically something like that. I don't know. You can do stuff around that stuff. I just feel like it needs to be innovated, and it's really old. But it looks like that's our show, guys. We appreciate you guys for watching. We will be live Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Pacific. I think that's around 4 o'clock East at UTC. So check us out there, guys. Please check out ordinalrevolution.com. We have some of the best articles over there, man. And then on top of that, we have our store. And if you're going to Bitcoin Nashville, we do have a 21% off coupon over there. Just click that on the website. We do have a members program. We put out a members video yesterday. So go check that out if you are a member. And if you're interested, it's $9.99. You just do it through YouTube, just like anything else. And I think that's everything, right?
Yep, pretty much covered everything. Just check out our last thing is check out our partners, Ordinal Hive, the Blur of Bitcoin. So watch out for that's coming soon. Fluid tokens, borrowing and lending on Bitcoin's native layer with DEX swap coming. Protium DEX, building on Merlin, a Bitcoin layer 1 asset focused DEX, and then Traverse Labs, the best security solution for Bitcoin. And check all of them out. We appreciate our partners. We appreciate you guys. Have a blessed rest of your weekend. We will see you Monday morning.
See you guys.
Peace.
Ordinal Revolution. Let's go.